My crime scene consisted of a homicide at a golf course. Two golfers were about halfway through the course when they stumbled upon a dead guy with a smashed face and a golf club in the top of his head. They immediately called the police. We contacted the golf club and told them to keep everyone they can at the golf club but off the course. The investigating team showed up to the crime scene and began to block off the crime scene and collecting evidence. When investigating a crime, a lot of things go into it. I would have approximately 12 people on my team, the leader calling all the shots, 2 people taking pictures of the entire crime scene, and 2 guys walking around documenting and taking notes, 2 guys to originally block off the crime scene, 2 guys collecting evidence, 2 guys interviewing people, and 1 guy transferring the evidence. A walkthrough of the crime scene with the detective or officer in charge would take place after the exchange of information from the original 2 golfers. The investigator establishes a path to enter and exit the crime scene, avoiding the pathway used by the suspect if possible and preserving the scene from possible contamination. The team members who take photos would then take photos of the entire crime scene before any evidence is taken with the camera. Crime scene photography is very important. Visual communications are substantial in court, and this is what everyone goes off of. Photography of the scene and the evidence is one of the first procedures performed at a scene. We would then have our note takers come in. Case files may be prepared for a lot of things also. Investigators should perform the evidence collection process in a systematic and careful manner. The process begins with the preliminary crime scene survey walkthrough, followed by a determination of the evidence collection. Crime scene investigators should be trained to recognize trace evidence, understand the potential value of trace evidence, and collect and preserve the sample and control sample. When encountering noticeable items of trace evidence, we would document and collect the item immediately. The things we would collect at the crime scene would be traces of DNA on the body, such as under the fingernails. We would use a scallop-like needle to take the DNA out of place into the sterile evidence and place into a storage container. And another item we would take in for evidence is the golf club. We would search this for fingerprints using our automated fingerprint scanner that I do not have on hand. The golf club is the murder weapon in this case. We would also collect different items from the golf club, such as any other blood located on the golf club, which could possibly be our suspects. We would collect this by using sterile cotton swabs and placing it into another storage sterile container to bring it in for further testing. We would also look for other clues around the body, such as blood, fingerprints, blood and fingerprints, footprints anywhere in the grass, and anything the suspect may have left behind. If there are footprints, we would need to take pictures of these with a ruler next to it to see how big it is. We would look for fingerprints everywhere and collect them also using the automated fingerprint identification. If any blood is detected anywhere else, we would collect it with a sterile cotton swab and put into a storage sterile container. We would use automated light therapy on the victim's body. This will help us determine if there is any other damage done to the body that we cannot see with our eyes. I do not have this on hand either. We have to make sure we are collecting every single item with sterile gloves and changing our gloves for every item collected. When collecting any item, make a mark near the area where the sample was found with a Sharpie or other marker. An arrow, line, or circle should be made clearly indicating the location of the substance. It is important all of these processes are following the regulations, or the evidence collected will be useless in court. It will get thrown out, and the entire case will get thrown out. We would then move into the golf course. We would talk to the manager to see if there is any cameras that can see the place of the crime. If there are, we would need to take those in for evidence to be looked at. It is important if any other evidence is needed from an additional place other than the crime scene that a search warrant is obtained. It is important to keep everyone at the golf course because our suspect could possibly still be there. We need to make sure we talk to everyone and ask them if they saw anything. After all the evidence is collected and everyone at the golf course is questioned, it is important to get legal on-record statements for each one of them so we can legally use this information. If we do not do this, any information they give us could be used in court. Cannot be used in court.